long time ago, in a small town called Dundun, which was a long-hour drive from the major city, there lived a young, beautiful girl named Moni, but who was fondly called Mama. Mama has brown eyes with thick curly hair and a very kind heart. She was also a very curious girl who loved to learn from things and questions. Every fortnight, under the tall Iroko tree, Mama and other young girls sit and listen to tales and stories told by Mama, an old woman who loves to entertain the children. The ones Mama loved the most were of travelers from the major city and distant lands who passed through the village because Mama has always wondered what life was outside of Dundun town. Dundun town was a small town, so everybody knows one another, and a stranger or traveler is easily noticeable from the people. One evening, as night began to fall, blessing the village with its warm glow, a stranger arrived into town. He was a tall man carrying a sack bag containing his clothes and other valuables. He has been on the road for 2 days and needed to rest. In those days, only the king provided a small hut for any person entering the town, especially a traveler. Word soon spread across the town, and everybody was eager to see the traveler who is spending 3 days and 3 nights in Dundun town. They came out like birds in their twos. Now, because word of mouth and the town crier were the only way they could communicate in those days, the elders warned the villagers not to go near the traveler alone, as they did not know who the traveler was or what he came to do in their town. But Mama thought in her heart, being a curious girl that she was, that she should go and talk to the stranger the next day and ask him questions about the towns and places he has visited. The next day, Mama went to the market and bought a basket full of fruit, and she walked down the road path till she got to the small hut where the traveler was staying in. She knocked on the door and waited for the response of the traveler. The traveler opened the door and Mama said, "Good afternoon, welcome to Dundun town. I come bearing gifts. Would you like some fruits? I just got them from the market on my way here." The traveler looked at Mama, surprised, and muttered, "Thank you, you are very kind." "What is your name?" Mama asked. "My name is Adekunle," the traveler responded. "Villagers call me Mama, but my name is Munioluwa," Mama responded in return. The traveler thanked Mama again, and Mama sat him down and began questioning him about where he was coming from, where he was going, and when he was going to leave Dundun town. The traveler responded that he was leaving Dundun town in 2 days' time, that he only needed rest before he continues on his journey. Since then, Mama took it upon herself to take more food and water to the traveler, aside from the one provided by the king through his palace servants. And this made them talk more, where Mama told him she would love to see what the world looks like outside of Dundun town. Word soon spread across the village about Mama being close to the traveler, and this made Mama's mother to call Mama and warn her to stay clear of the traveler who was leaving their town in just 2 days' time and who Mama might not see again. 2 days later in the morning, Adekunle woke up and got dressed to continue on his journey. As he was packing his bags, he looked up towards the village path leading to his small hut and he saw Mama walking down with a basket on her head. Mama walked up to Adekunle and said, "Today is your last day in our village, so I come bearing gifts, this small food and some fruits. Your next stop is the next village, so have this water and this food and take it with you. The next village is just a few hours from here, so you should be there by dawn tomorrow morning." Adekunle thought and said to himself, "What can I give this kind and compassionate girl who has been nothing but kind to me for 2 days?" So Adekunle the traveler brought out a wrist bead and gave it to Mama and said, "Take this wrist bead, for I have nothing to give you." Mama thanked him and he set out to continue on his journey. Few months passed and Mama had forgotten about the traveler. She has grown to be a more beautiful lady who was matured and ready to get married and was already having suitors. In Dundun town, every 2 years, they used to have the Ereke Dance Festival where everyone shows their dance skill and are merry. It was on the eve of Ereke Dance Festival while Mama was at the stream fetching water into the clay pot for their home that her sister rushed down the path leading to the stream and said, "Mama, Mama, come, come. Mama is calling you at home. You have a visitor. A big man from the strange land is looking for you," Mama's sister said happily. Mama quickly and hurriedly filled her clay pot with water and rushed behind her sister to go home. When she got home, she was greeted and welcomed by Adekunle the traveler, who had also grown to be a more handsome man and now a very successful trader. Adekunle and Mama exchanged pleasantries and he said that he came to the village for the Ereke Dance Festival, which also got people from neighboring towns attending it, and also because he remembered that Mama had said that she would love to learn how to read and write and know what life is outside of Dundun town. Mama's eyes lit up as Adekunle spoke and smiles were seen spreading across her face. She rushed in to call her mother to tell her the good news. "I would love that," Mama, who was so happy, said as she rushed out back with her mother, "even though Mommy and I are scared because I have never been out of this town before." Adekunle quickly cut in and told Mama and her mother not to worry, that she wasn't leaving the village yet, but that he has employed some teachers with the approval of the king to come and take those interested in education in the town. Mama was so happy, and a month later, she enrolled to be taught how to read and write amongst other young girls and boys under the same Iroko tree that Mama Agba, who was now late, used to tell them stories. After the festival, Adekunle went back to his town with a promise that he would write to Mama and come back sometime soon. 1 year later, Mama was already fluent in reading and can also write properly. So Mama sat her mother down one day and said, Mommy, I want to go to the city and see what I can do. I can read now. I can write now. I don't want to continue to live in this small town. I want to know what life is outside of this town. I want to go after this year's Ereke Dance Festival. Please give me your blessing, Mommy. I promise you that I would make you proud, Mommy. Mama's mother, even though she was scared, gave Mama a blessing and told her she could go. On the festival day of that same year, Adekunle attended as he had told Mama he would in one of the letters that he wrote to her. And she told him again of her plans to leave the village and move to the city. Adekunle was so happy that he offered to help Mama get her footing and find what she could do when she gets to the city. 3 days later, Mama bid farewell to her mother and sister and left the town with Adekunle. And immediately she got to the city, she enrolled into a fashion school where she learned how to cut and sew. Before long, she began to sew for people and she further enrolled into an adult school to get better in her writing and in her speaking and to get more knowledge. And before long, she became better. Adekunle, on the other hand, became so fond of Mama that he just couldn't take his eyes off her every time. He couldn't believe that this was the same Mama who was so naive, young, and kind to him few years ago. He fell in love with Mama and decided to ask her to be with him. Mama, who was new to this, responded to Adekunle and said yes, and the relationship started. Both of them became fond of one another, and one day, Adekunle proposed and asked Mama to marry him. Mama responded and said yes to his proposal, but said, if we get married, Adekunle or call me, I want Mommy to come and live with us, or we'll rent her a house in the city. I also want my sister to come to the big city and do better than what I'm doing. Adekunle, who was scared when Mama said but, fully accepted her request and they both went to the village to start preparing for Mama's marital rites. Few weeks later, Adekunle and Mama got married in the village. Mama took her sister and her mother out of the village to the city. Kunle continued to pay the adult teacher's salary to teach everyone who was willing to learn how to read and write in the town of Dundo. And before long, Mama's name was written in the sand of time as the kind girl who was kind to a traveler, who in turn became a blessing to the whole town. The town of Dundo flourished. Now they had traders, fishermen, and young and old who could read and write as well. In the city, Mama and Kunle had children. Mama's sister decided to go to school and become a nurse, and Mommy became a grandmother taking care of Mama's children while doing her own petty trading. Now, the lesson to learn from this story is not to look down on anybody, to be kind to everybody, and to know that it doesn't matter where you are or where you are coming from. What matters is where you are going. We all are here to help one another, and whenever you can, be kind to the world around you because what goes around comes around. I hope you enjoyed today's story. We will come again with another story very soon. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and kindly help us to grow. To like our videos and to share to everybody that you know would love to listen to our stories. Everybody would find fun in listening to stories. Thank you for listening.